What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. Sai had to bolt, so it's just me for the instant match reaction stream. Spurs have been beaten at Craven Cottage 2-1 in our fourth defeat in a row in the Premier League. No wins in 2026. We are now in March. 2 wins in 19 games. The only positive coming from today, West Ham and Nottingham Forest also losing this week, which means we don't move any closer to the relegation zone. Spurs are right in the thick of a relegation battle right now. Do not get it twisted. We are in the worst form in the whole Premier League. We are playing the worst football in the whole Premier League. And other teams, I saw West Ham yesterday lose 5-2 to Liverpool and looked a lot better than we did today. That is the reality. That is where we are at the moment. We'll get into the game. Big up to everyone in the chat at the moment. Fulham didn't have to do a lot today. They weren't great. They weren't exactly scintillating. They didn't have to do too much to beat us. But Tottenham were passive again. They were just weak, feeble, and it's just too easy to play against. And it's been that way all season. Igor Tudor hasn't had the desired impact as of yet to get Tottenham a new manager bounce or get Tottenham playing a bit more. We are playing more on the front foot, but we're just doing it with so little quality going forward, so little technical ability. You've got Dragoshin and Paulinho pissing themselves whenever they get the ball. Paulinho would rather slide tackle than pass the ball. That's where he's at the moment. Dragoshin, I can't count the amount of times he passed the ball out of play today. Vicario as well took one of the worst free kicks. I think the free kick in his own half was so bad, I thought he must be trying to score because it was no close to anyone in a black shirt today. Absolutely atrocious for much of the game, with pockets of pressure from Tottenham, but it was too few and far between. Game started. We started in this kind of 4-4-2 formation. Xavi stuck out wide on the left-hand side, 2 up top. Gallagher playing right wing, which, Frank played him there. Once Porro comes in back in a right back, it looked like it was a bit more of a 4 at the back, 3 at the back in possession, and 4 at the back out of possession. So kind of like a hybrid system, it looked like. And we just couldn't get going. Mwani and Solanke were not combining whatsoever. We couldn't get them to combining in the front line. Fulham were just dominating us in the middle. They were finding all sorts of pockets of space behind Basuma and Paulinho. Paulinho couldn't pass the ball straight. Basuma looked off the pace. He was probably better than Paulinho, but he wasn't particularly great. They were targeting Archie Gray down our left-hand side time and time again. Opening goal, I think it's a foul. I think Tottenham have been robbed in that scenario. Cross to the back post. Dragoshin clearly pushed by Jimenez, 2 hands in the back. You clearly see Dragoshin, how it impacts him. He's about to win the ball, and then he gets pushed by Jimenez, and it falls to Oscar Bob, who puts it back into the middle, and Harry Wilson volleys it home. Now, considering last week, Mwani gets punished for a light brush on Gabriel, and he gets penalised and our goal gets ruled out, where this one is much more of a foul on Dragoshin by Raul Jimenez, and VAR took one look at it and decided to allow the goal. I think it's an absolute disgrace. Tottenham have been absolutely done. I think the consistency this season when it comes to those instances is nothing short of shambolic. Tottenham have the right to feel aggrieved when it comes to that decision, in my opinion. Romero doesn't get, Ekitike doesn't get penalised. Jimenez doesn't get penalised yet. Mwani does get penalised when his one was the weakest of the lot when it comes to contact. So I think it's an absolute disgrace. Igor Tudor and Van de Ven incensed after the goal. And that kind of just set the tone for a game. Just, set the negative tone, set the negative feeling of injustice. And not that Tottenham deserved anything from this game, but in terms of 6 minutes in to get that goal given against you, you've got to be absolutely fuming with that. And I think Spurs have a right to feel aggrieved with that goal being allowed. And Fulham took full advantage of it. Obviously, they got the lead through Wilson, and Spurs kind of had a few moments, a few block shots. Porro and Gallagher were probably our biggest threats when it came to going forward. They were combining fairly well down that side. We probably looked at our most threatening when Porro was swinging the ball in and Solanke was getting the ball down in the box. Mawani was either fouling or getting out-muscled by Bassi and Diop. He was getting completely bullied. He wasn't having it today. Xavi Simons was a complete ghost. He was anonymous, shunted out to the left-hand side. He just didn't look on it. He wasn't looking for the ball. There was no one moving around him. And his quality as well, kept picking the wrong decision, kept giving the ball away with sloppy passes. He was having a bit of a shocker. Archie Gray was having a real tough time up against Harry Wilson and Kenny Tete. He just wasn't... he was struggling a lot, especially in that first half. They just kept looking to catch him out. They aimed for him early. Every time they got the ball, let's try and get him behind Archie Gray. That was kind of like what they were trying to do throughout the whole game. And they were getting a lot of joy from there. Sander Berge and the other midfielder, I can't remember off the top of my head who it was right now, but they were just dominating. Iwobi it was. They were just dominating in the middle. Basuma and Paulinho were chasing shadows for a lot of it. And I wouldn't say it was going to only a matter of time before it went 2-0 because it kind of came out of the blue. But the manner of the goal, Tottenham it was like they were doing the mannequin challenge. They were just standing still, watching the Fulham players move around them, look for the open space. Wilson goes short into the pocket. No one tracks him. Solanke lets Iwobi run off him, and Iwobi side foots a finish from the right-hand side of the penalty box. Look, to be fair to Iwobi, great finish, great goal. Unorthodox finish as well with his side foot instep. You don't really see goals often from that angle, your side foot to the far post from that distance. So a great finish, but the standoff nature of Tottenham was horrible, and the fact that we were just watching Fulham pop it around, and no one had the taking responsibility to put a foot in, put a challenge in, making sure Fulham don't have all the time in the world, all the space to pop it around like they were. And then we were just chasing shadows. We were chasing shadows for that goal. It was an absolute disgrace. Everyone just standing around watching as Fulham just make a few passes, and yes, it's a good goal, but you only have yourself to blame when you're allowing Fulham to just play their football, which we did. I thought the setup wasn't helping us from Igor. I thought we looked blunt, to be honest. We weren't looking creative. And then second half starts, and we looked even worse, especially for the first 20 minutes. Didn't have a shot up until the goal that we scored. Fulham should have really taken the game away from us at that point. Smith Rowe has a one-on-one, which they carved us open like a Christmas turkey. It was absolutely insane how Fulham were just able to play through us without really doing anything difficult, just making the simple runs in the centre, and Tottenham were just not tracking their runners, and Fulham were having lots of chances. Smith Rowe had two very presentable ones, one one-on-one, and then he had a 3-on-2 which played in by Oscar Bob, and he put it just wide after Paulinho gave the ball away with a really bad error. He was just giving the ball away constantly throughout the whole game. It was very, very frustrating to watch. And he was giving the ball away whenever he attempted to play forward. He just gave it away. And at one point, he was resorting to just sliding all over the place like he was on an ice rink. He was just sliding. There was opportunities where he could have passed forward. He decided to slide tackle instead. So what is he doing? Is that all he knows? Just how to slide tackle? He's supposed to be a footballer, a midfielder in the Premier League. And you don't know how to take the ball under control and pass it forward. You can just slide tackle. It's been a constant problem for him. It did change a bit, the momentum of the game. When we brought Tell on, we brought Sarr on, we brought on Richarlison. That is when the momentum of the game changed. Xavi went off. Mwani, who had a stinker, he went off. Gallagher, playing at right wing, he went off. And I thought Tell had a really positive impact. He was actually running at his man, was keeping the ball, was able to shield the ball. He was bringing the fullback into play. He linked up quite well with Gray, and then Sousa when he came on. He was actually giving Tete some problems. Finally, Xavi was anonymous throughout the whole game, had an absolute stinker, had to be hauled off. And Tell came on and showed more in his cameo than Xavi did throughout the hour he was on. So fair play to Tell. The goal comes. He links up with Gray, definitely against runner play, because it was our first goal that we scored for our first shot of the half. Really good link up between Tell and Gray. Gray on the overlap, clips it to back post. Richarlison coming on and having that desired impact, heading it home, make it 2-1. All of a sudden, Tottenham have their tails up a bit. Tell immediately has another chance where he doesn't get the shot off, where he's running at his man, and he could have either put the ball in or got the shot off. And all of a sudden, it looked like Tottenham had a bit of momentum. Unfortunately, that didn't last very long. Fulham then make a triple change, and all of a sudden, momentum goes back in their favour. I felt like after the Fulham changes, we did really struggle to impact, struggled to really create too many clear-cut opportunities. It looked like we had some momentum, but once Marco Silva counteracted it, made some smart changes, added some energy to the Fulham team, we then really struggled to then assert ourselves on the game. Fulham then were the ones in the ascendancy. Fulham were the ones pushing probably for the third goal. And only really right at the end, when we had some corners and free kicks where we were putting Fulham under a bit of pressure, only then did we kind of look like we might force home an equaliser, which would have been against run of play, and it wouldn't have been deserved. Paulinho right at the end has a shot blocked, and at the end we didn't deserve it. We did not deserve to win. We didn't deserve a point. Fulham were the better team. Igor Tudor looked lost and angry and confused on the touchline. He seemed already before the game saying this job is a lot tougher than even I expected. So he's already making those noises in his press conferences. If you're looking at this team, you wouldn't be thinking, they're fighting for everything to get out of this relegation zone. We had an opportunity this week with West Ham losing, Forest also losing as we played today against Brighton 2-1. We had an opportunity to put a bit of daylight between us and those teams, even if we would have got a point. And we squandered it. We absolutely squandered it with another, yet again, feeble first half, which we've seen so many times this season, which Igor Tudor hasn't been able to correct. And another late rally, which was too little too late, which again has been a theme for Tottenham this season. If you didn't think, everyone has been acknowledging now, yes, we're in a relegation battle, but I still hear people talking about how, yeah, but you're not really going to go down, are you? Yeah, but, we'll be fine. We'll probably stay up. Reality is, guys, we are playing the worst football in the league. We are bottom of the form table over the last 20 games, let alone the last 10 or 5. We're getting less. We're playing worse than Wolves at the moment, who are rock bottom of the table. We are yet to win in 2026. We're now 4 losses in a row. We are now 2 wins in 19 games in the Premier League. 19. That's half a season. We've won 2 games. That's it. That's all you need to know. And as every game, another game ticks away. We have 10 games. How many games you got now? 10 games between now and the end of the season. The gap is only 4 points. That's it. The gap is only 4 points, and we didn't take the opportunity. Everyone actually in and around us lost this week, apart from Wolves. Everyone lost. So this was a massive opportunity this week to ease the fears of the relegation fight, and we weren't capable of doing it. And we're in massive trouble. Massive trouble. I say it every week. I just hope the message has sunk in that we have a real chance of going down. Like, I'm not even saying like it's unlikely at this point that we're going to go down the way we're playing and the way things are going. I would say right now, with the form that we're showing, we're one of the favourites. I would say it's not far off from being the favourites to go down right now the way we're playing. We are in deep trouble. The only positives, I thought Porro had a better game. It was good to have him back. Definitely needed his quality on the ball. Sousa and Tell, couple of good cameos there. They did all right when they came on, made an impact. Rishi did as well. So the subs actually did all right. Nothing groundbreaking, but they just made a positive impact, got Tottenham all on the front foot, and asked Fulham a few more questions. I thought the starting lineup, the team in the starting lineup were dreadful. Everyone was dreadful. I can't think of a single good player. Maybe Van der Ven was okay. Vicario looked shaky. He spilled a cross from Bassi, which nearly fell to Jimenez. His passing again, passed the ball out of play about 3 times. Paulinho all over the place. Basuma, average. Solanke and Moani were awful. Didn't link up at all. Gallagher, what have he done to prove that he's a £35 million player at the moment? We're playing him out of position. I get that, but he was awful. He looked uncomfortable on that right hand side. The only time though is when he was linking with Porro, and Porro came to support him. One of the early times we looked all right. I think Gray probably comes up with some credit because he was playing here, there, and everywhere. And I thought, well, yes, when he was at left back, he struggled, but he did get an assist. And then once he moved over to the right, he did look a lot more comfortable and started to improve a bit. So Gray, I mean, the utility man, the Swiss Army knife, he just does whatever we tell him to. And he tries. He tries to his best, but he did get targeted in that first half, and it was tough. So yeah, we're in massive, massive trouble, people. Another loss in the London derby as well. We are in big, big trouble. Hopefully, we got a midweek. This is a massive midweek now. Massive midweek. We play Crystal Palace on Thursday in what is a massive 6-pointer. Palace lost today against Man United. It's a massive game now between us and Crystal Palace on Thursday night. We have to take all 3 points. There are not too many opportunities coming forward where we can look to see games where we're probably going to be one of the favourites to win right now because we're playing awfully. So Thursday's massive. We need to take some positives into that game. There are not many to take today, but we just need to find a way to get a win on Thursday and drag Palace into it because we're in big, big trouble. Big, big trouble. All right. It's a loss. That is your instant match reaction. Let me know in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on the game? What were your thoughts on today's performances? Are we staying up? Because on today's evidence, we've got a lot of work to do if we're going to be in this league next season. And no Tottenham fan, I think, ever really considered saying that. We're in deep, deep trouble. But let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts were on today's game. But now it's your chance to have your say on the 2-1 defeat to Fulham. The link is in the pin to the chat at the moment if you want to come on and give your reaction to today's defeat and the ongoing relegation fight that we have ourselves in at the moment. All right, let's get Barry on. Absolute deluded. How are we doing, Barry? Good to see you, my friend.
Well, Sim. A month ago, I sat there with you and I said the players are the problem. But no, you, Sim, and Daniel Sammer said that Frank was the problem. Well, funnily enough, I've been proved right. So I can have my apology from all those deluded people saying, oh, it's Frank. We'll get a new manager. We'll get a new manager bounce. These players are the problem. And when people wake up and realise this, that's when we'll start moving forward. But at the moment, we're blaming the refs. We're blaming the weather. We sound like Arsenal fans the way that we're going on here.
Do you think it was a foul on Dragoshin?
No.
You don't think it was a foul?
I'm sorry, Sim. I don't think it was a foul.
He pushed him.
Yes, he had two hands on his back.
No, but he pushed him. He pushed him.
I don't think it makes a difference.
Doesn't
Sim.
it?
No.
Why not?
The point here is we wanted Frank gone. Or sorry, you wanted Frank gone. Daniel Sammer wanted Frank gone.
Absolutely.
A load of the other people wanted Frank gone. And actually, we're worse. Do you know why? Because Tudor is playing a back three when we have two centre-backs. He's playing Porro, our right winger. the only right wing back. He's playing him on the right side of a back three. He's playing Gallagher at right wing back. We have a left back in Sousa who doesn't play, and we put Archie Gray on the as left wing back. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
Barry, I'm not sitting here saying Tudor's a great manager. I didn't want him in. Obviously, we've got him now.
No, but you said anyone but Frank's him.
No, I didn't. But I did want Frank out, 100%. Well, Frank got us in this position, Barry. Do you not realise that?
No. These players got us in this
Frank
position.
And the players
did.
This
board got us in this position. This ownership got us in this position.
Yeah, but part of the bad decision making was hiring Frank. That was part of the bad decisions they've done. That was for me.
Okay.
So that's my point. He was an awful fit for us. He was never a good manager for us.
But the point here is, Sim, is that was but at what point do the fans turn up and protest? At what point do fans sit there? They'll sit there. They'll be at the next home game. sitting there and loving the stadium and loving all of this. They won't call it. I can't wait to hear what Stell's got to say, because Stell's going to literally go absolutely mad. These players, I sat there earlier, we sit there, this is how deluded this fan base is. We're going to beat Fulham 3-1. Our players are better than Fulham's. I don't think 11 versus 11, any of our players were better than Fulham's. We sit there and we gas Van de Ven. I don't actually think Van de Ven's that good. He's got his pace, but that's it. Sim, this team is worse than it was last season. No Kulu, no Maddison, no Son. And you knew what I said about Son and trying to get Sonny out. But these players are awful. And that's the starting point of this. We need to start blaming these players. Our captain that calls the board out, and what do our fans do? Oh, Romero's one of us. Oh, he's with us. And then he gets sent off and banned for 4 games. He's not one of us. He's not with us. He'll be gone. Van de Ven will be gone. They all want a ticket out of it. They're not playing like there's a World Cup this summer. They're playing like they just want to stay fit so they don't get injured. They're not putting their bodies on their line. They're not fighting for the badge. They're not fighting for the shirt. These players are the problem. Simple as. It doesn't matter whether it's Tudor, Frank, whoever. It doesn't matter. You could be the manager, Sim. It doesn't matter. The players are awful. Simple as that.
So how do we solve this situation? How do we stay up?
We stay up because the other teams are worse than us, like we did last season.
They're not the worse than us at the moment, though.
But Sim, they are. They are worse than us.
Not in form, wise. Not in form. Not in the form.
In form, no. But where we are today, the real winners of today are West Ham, because they're only 2 points behind Forest. They're the real winners of today. Mm-hmm. But West Ham have horrible fixtures. We're going to go to Liverpool, and we're going to get absolutely torn apart. Mm-hmm. Liverpool could play in first gear, and they've not been playing well, and they'll tear us apart.
So I'm saying, how do we keep above West Ham? They're playing well at the moment. Even I watched them yesterday. I watched them yesterday. They played quite well. I know they lost 5-2. They were much better than we were today.
The only reason we stay up is because we will get lucky, because the rest of the teams will be worse than us. But when it comes down to it, that's the only way we're staying up.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, that's the only way. I said we're not going to get relegated. I still don't think we're going to get relegated. But the issue is not going to be because of what we're doing. The issue is because of what other people are doing.
But we have 2 wins in 19 games.
Okay.
We're bottom of the league in the form table over 20 games, I think.
Yeah, I understand that, Sim. But the other fixtures that they've got, they're harder than what we've got.
They can get points out of those games. We can't get points out of any games at the moment.
Well, no, the last win was Palace. Well, we might get a win against Palace because that was our last win back in December.
Do we have to win on Thursday for you? Is that like must win if we're going to stay up?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's got to be. But when was the last time? That was the last time we won a game of football. When was the last time we won a game of football at home?
Yeah, that was Brentford, wasn't it?
It's just mad, Sim.
It's insane, and we haven't won in 2026, Barry. We haven't won this year yet. 0 wins with 4 losses on the bounce. I don't think West Ham and Forest being bad is going to save us. We're going to have to win some games here, Barry.
Yeah, and I think we will, because I think we'll get knocked out against Atletico Madrid. Let's be honest here. I don't think we're beating all these deluded Spurs fans. Oh, we're going to finish 17th again and go to the Champions League final, blah 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 blah, and what have you. So we're going to beat Madrid, then we're going to beat Barcelona, then we're going to beat Arsenal, then we're going to beat Bayern Munich.
No one who's saying we're going to win the Champions League, Barry. Let's be honest.
Deluded fans, Sim, like you probably.
When have I ever said we're going to win the Champions League? Of course we are. I've booked my tickets to Budapest, mate. Come on.
Well, then I think we'll probably.
Barry, here's the thing. We have the players that we have, Barry. We have to rely on them between now and the end of the season. We can't make any signings. Yeah,
but we also have to rely on them playing in their right positions. We can't have Porro as a right wing back and Gallagher in his position. We can't have. I'm sorry, Archie Gray. Just why is he still playing? Like, what is this guy got?
We got no one else. Well, Sousa looked alright when he came on.
There is options. There is options, but Tudor won't do it because Tudor wants to play 3 at the back, and that's what he always wants to do.
But he played a bit like a 4-4-2 today, didn't he?
Out of possession, I think he did. But I'm not an expert, so... But the point is, you said Xavi was ghosted. Xavi wasn't playing his position. He was pushed out on the left. Why are people... At least if we're going to have a chance, play the players in their right positions. That's what we have to do.
So who did you not like in their position today? Who was...
Gray,
yeah.
Gray, Gallagher, Xavi Simons, Porro, Mawani and Solanke. I mean, it's neither here nor there. I mean, they're both rubbish. So yeah, I mean, it didn't. Van de Ven on the left-hand side of a back three, Dragusin in the centre, Vicario. I mean, all of them, all 11. Sim, let's go with all 11. It's just easier that way because they're all rubbish. Vicario kicking the ball straight out of play into the Spurs fans, and then sitting there. I mean, Fulham today should have probably been 5-0 up before we even got a chance, before we even scored that goal, and we're sitting there going. There's some fans again going, oh. We should have probably got a point out of that game today. Like, I'm not sure if they're seeing the same games. I'm sorry, Sim. The fans that are sitting there and thinking that they're right and Frank should have gone and it doesn't and the players aren't the problem and we're going to get a new manager bounce. The fans deserve what they're seeing. They're the ones that deserve it. There's people here that there's people here that's going to come on, and there's people here that have tried to get change, and these fans don't want it. They just want to sit there in the bars. They just want to sit there getting drunk and buying pizzas and loving everything else. And then they'll mock the people that turn up. Oh, there's only 100 of them on the high road. Ha ha ha! Look at them. Blah blah blah. Purple and gold and all of this nonsense that they'll do. They're the fans. Those fans are the problem at this football club because they'll sit there, and I'm sure they'll be saying it in the comments, and there'll be people that come on here and go, oh no, it's all Tudor. It's not these players. The players are better than they are. The players are rubbish. The players are rubbish. Honestly, they are so bad, Sim. And this comes from what Stell will come on to talk about. It comes from the recruitment. It comes from the scouting. It comes from everything. Because we knew Heung-min Son was going. I was one of Son's, biggest critics for the last 18 months. Because he wasn't doing well. But by God, could we do with him now? But we knew he was going. But did we replace him? No. We didn't replace him because we don't need to replace him. Just like we didn't replace Harry Kane. Just like we didn't replace Eriksen. Just like we didn't replace Bale. Just like we didn't replace all these other players that ENIC haven't replaced. And that's the problem. And this is what the fan base need to do. They need to realise that these players are rubbish. I don't think any of these players get into any team in this current way that they're playing in the Premier League. Any of them. You can sit there, you'll still have fans going, oh, Romero and Van de Ven, they're better than Gabriel and Saliba. Absolute nonsense. They are awful. All of them.
So none of these players would get into any other Premier League team, you're saying?
No, Sim.
How is that possible when they play, some of them play for some of the biggest countries starting every game? For countries that perform very, very well. So are these countries just picking
because they have
players?
better players around them, Sim. They don't have. You don't have one player plugged in. You can't buy a Conor Gallagher.
Right. So it's not the. So it's not. So you're saying when they're playing for Spain or Holland or Argentina, that the players around them make up for how bad they are. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes, Sim.
So, like when Porro plays for Spain or Van de Ven plays for Holland, you're saying
Van de Ven, when he plays for Holland, he's got Virgil van Dijk next to him. When he plays for Spurs, he's got Radu Dragusin next to him. What are we doing here, Sim?
But you're saying that makes Van de Ven bad.
He should have standards. Why is he not bringing players up to his level?
Because there's only so much you can do when you got bloody Dragish next to you.
That's because they're all crap, Sim. This is the point. They can't do it.
They can't all be crap.
They don't have mentality. They don't have a mentality. They don't have standards. Everyone here that's going to come on, we all have jobs. We all have things. If someone's not doing a good job, what do? We don't sit there and go, oh, I'm getting paid 40 grand a week, or I'm just going to down tools. But these players have done it time and time again. This started under Poch. And for all those people, look at what's happened, Sim. Poch left and he said what he said. Instead of backing Poch, when we should have done, we've spent how much on players? 2 billion? And we spent how much on compensation for managers? Whereas actually, where would we be now? Actually, we'd be where Arsenal are, because we would have invested in the right players, we would have backed a manager, and we would have handled it. Conte's the problem. Conte said it all, and we didn't learn from what Conte said. So what was the point in all of this? We're going to come back in the summer. Poch is going to come back. Oh, yes, Poch is back. Woo! And all the fans are going to be loving it, and they're going to be blindsided by it. And then Poch is going to lose games because he's going to have the same crap players, probably even worse. And then everyone's going to give him time. Oh, but it's Poch. Let's give him time. Let's do all of this. It's nonsense, Sim. This is the point, and this is what this club does. It deflects, it's smoke and mirrors, and it does everything that it shouldn't be doing. What this fan base needs to do is realise first of all these players are crap, and then realise where the focus needs to go to. And I'm sure Stel will come onto it later, but it needs to come onto this board and it needs to come onto this hierarchy. And the fans need to be together on this. No more excuses about VAR, referees, the weather, the players are better than they are, a new manager bounce, none of this nonsense. Everyone just needs to get behind it and realise what the real problem is and stop sitting there and because what will happen is, and we know what will happen is, they'll get Poch back, everyone will forget about it, and then we'll just be here again in 18 months.
All right, Barry, good to see you, mate. Good to speak to you. I'll catch you on... Are you going to the game on Thursday?
Well, I'm not wasting my time, Sim.
Why would I do that? Because we need all the support we can get right now.
Well, as Porro did when he started giving it the old, come on, why are you not getting upset? These players need to come on and start showing it on the pitch before people start going and start supporting.
Nice one. Barry, I'll catch you in a bit. Good to see you. That was Nick, Barry, Sean, whatever you want to call him. He's got a name for everyone. Let's get Stelios, who Barry has been alluding to. He is in the house. Stel, good to see you, my man. Not great circumstances. Again, not been any great circumstances at all this whole year. But today, Stel, just start on the game. We'll get to the wider issues, which I'm sure you want to get into, but today, deserved defeat? Is he there? Is he frozen?
I think he just froze. Yeah, 100%. Fulham.
One sec. I think you just froze.
Oh, he's back. I can hear you.
I can hear you, but you're oh, there you go. Yeah, you're back. You're back. Go on.
Yeah, my back. Sorry, I'm in a remote village in Cyprus with Wi-Fi worse than my usual nonsense. So, This might be a tricky feed. Yeah, look, today Fulham were all over us. We had a few moments. We rallied a little bit, but the amount of counter-attacks where they just tore right through the middle of our team, and they should have at least scored another 3 or 4 goals. Vicario made a couple of excellent saves. They missed a couple of chances. We possibly could have scored 1 or 2 more ourselves, but Fulham deserved the win today. They were the better team. I thought that Tudor, for the second game in a row, got it catastrophically wrong. The way he surrenders the midfield is alarming. He surrendered the midfield against Arsenal by putting Paulinho in a back 3. Today, by going just 2 in midfield, he basically allowed Fulham to overload us every counter-attack. I don't understand why we can't just play with 3 in the middle. But he doesn't want to do it. So this is what's going to happen. We're going to... I can't hear you, Sim.
You can't hear me.
There you go. I can hear you now.
Oh yeah, they're saying your volume is low. People are saying in the chat. Is there any way you can up it?
Is that if I hold the mic to my mouth?
Yeah. I think that's louder.
Yeah, I can try.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the way this manager keeps surrendering the midfield is ridiculous. You know, he surrendered the midfield against Arsenal by playing Paulinho at centre-back instead of the midfield. Today he played Paulinho in the middle, but then he played with two midfielders, which effectively allowed Fulham to get an overload every time they counter-attacked on us. And I just feel that Tudor, for me, guys, you know, and I said it after the Arsenal game, I think he's crap. I think he's a crap manager, Sim. I thought Frank was terrible, but Tudor's no different for me. What's changed since Tudor's come here? The players look just as half-hearted as what they did under Frank. The tactics are just as nonsensical as what Frank's is. And I thought, you know, this is what I was told. New manager bounce. He's the survival expert in relegation. He's going to put a rocket up their backside. What an absolute load of crap. Our fans just jump on any nonsense fed to them. There's no rocket up their backside. They're not trying harder. What we needed was a manager that was going to come in, give them confidence, tell them they're not as bad as what the performances show, and to get them passing the ball. Basic pass and move drills. Get them playing some football where we see patterns of play out of the back, a 1-2 combination with the four. I was told he likes playing with fullbacks that bomb up the flanks and overload the left and right flanks. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing any of that. As for his team selection, he doesn't know what he's doing. He hasn't got a clue, Sim. So for me,
what did you not like about the team selection?
Because the other teams are worse. Why is Archie left back? You've got a left back on the bench. Play the left back. What's wrong with playing the left back? You've got a wide player on the bench. Why not start with the wide player out wide? How's about that? How's about some basics? Vicario, he's been dodgy as hell. Why not give Kinski a chance? Okay, don't get me wrong. Vicario made one brilliant save today, but that's not enough to keep him in the team. His distribution is shocking. I don't think we can play with two up top the way Tudor does it. If you're going to play with two up top, you need at least, in my opinion, two attacking mids, or at least two players pivoting in the 8-10 role. So I just look at the way he sets us up, and I just don't get it. I don't think it's going to change the way we play, and it doesn't. As for the was under Frank, the only difference is there's a little bit more pressing. But other than that, Sim, it's not much difference.
Do you think Spurs fans have a right to feel aggrieved with the first goal being allowed to stand, especially after what happened last week?
You get some, you don't get some. But if we're going to be depending on refereeing decisions to get results, then there's no point having a manager. Just get rid of the manager, get rid of the coaches, and let's just focus on influencing VAR decisions. You know, so our fans are desperate because our fans are deluded. They've been deluded for 5 years. You know, they don't want to protest, they don't want to demonstrate, they don't want to boycott, they don't want to take any kind of action. And yet when the shit hits the fan, they want to moan, they want to complain, they want to say ENIC's the problem, ENIC are an issue. No, the issue is you, the fan base. You're the issue because you accept it. You tolerate it. As far as I'm concerned, Sim, our fans, they want this because they've backed it. They backed Frank. They said, we just need a coach. Do you remember that one? Mm-hmm. We just need a coach. Yeah. Get rid of Ange, who won a trophy. You know, I got criticised for saying, you know what, we should keep Ange because for a whole year I said this manager's he's out of his depth. But to win a trophy under this ownership means you deserve a chance because you've done something every other manager hasn't done. But, you know, you're not allowed to change your view. That's illegal. Okay, bring in Frank. What a disaster class that's been. And then we got rid of Frank, but we don't need a manager who's got Premier League experience. We don't need a manager who understands what a relegation fight in England looks like. We need Tudor. All right, well, if you're going to jump on the Tudor train, then you need to own these results. You need to own the fact that there is no manager bounce. In fact, we're the first club ever to not get a manager bounce in English football. How's about that? So, I don't feel sympathetic to any Spurs fan. And Sim, to be honest with you, buddy, to be really honest with you, and this is going to be so controversial, it's going to be the clip of the day. I want Spurs to get relegated.
You want Spurs to get relegated?
110%. 100%. Because...
Are you crazy?
Nothing will change. No, far from it. Listen, 5 years ago, they called me crazy for saying ENIC out and Levy out. 5 years later, they all agree with me. When I said Frank is a loser after the Super Cup final, they called me crazy for judging him after one game. 6 months later, they all wanted Frank out. The fans will get to where I am, but it's just going to take them a hell of a long time. We will never, ever, ever have a footballing plan issue. If our fan base could force the issue for ENIC to change their ways,
Still, you're breaking up
I'm
a
all
bit.
for it.
One sec.
But unfortunately,
you're back now.
Sorry,
I think. Yeah,
am I
you're
back?
back. Yeah, you're back now.
Yeah, if our fan base had the bollocks, the cojones to force change, I'd say, yeah, stay in the Premier League and we can force change. But our fan base doesn't care. Our fan base is happy, losing 4-1 to Arsenal, then going into the South Stand and drinking beer and eating noodles and fish and chips. We lose 4-1 to Chelsea and we clap the players off the pitch. So we're happy. We're happy with these losses. The only way things change, Sim, is if we get relegated. Because the money ENIC will lose, not you, not me, right? The price of cheese, the price of bread isn't affected by Spurs getting relegated. My salary isn't affected by Spurs getting relegated. The only people who financially get wrecked at ENIC, they're the guarantor of the debt. They own the assets. They lose business value, not you or I. So if we get relegated, ENIC will be forced to have a footballing plan if they want to see Premier League money again. If they want to see European football money again. If ENIC wants to see income and asset valuation go up, the only way they will be able to do that is if we get relegated and they're forced to focus on proper scouting, proper recruitment, sticking with the manager, and actually developing our players from the academy into the first team. The only time you will see ENIC have a proper football plan is if it's forced on them financially. They won't be able to keep sacking managers because they won't be able to afford it.
So wait, but
relegation is the only way that will force that.
So you say you want us to keep losing?
I want ENIC gone and I want the fans to force it. But ENIC won't go because our fans aren't prepared to force it. Our fans just want to moan on social media, moan on podcasts, moan on YouTube, moan on TalkSport, but they don't want to take action. So therefore, the only option left is for ENIC to feel the kind of financial pain that will hurt them like they've never been hurt before. And the only way that will happen is relegation.
So, but if that's what you actively want, you're saying you want that?
I want Spurs to be relegated so that we can have proper change at our football club.
So wait, are you saying, like, if we get relegated, there is a silver lining to that? Or are you saying you actively will be championing Tottenham to go down?
What I'm saying is if we get relegated, it will be the best thing that's happened to us if ENIC stays the owners. Because for the first time in their ownership, they're going to be forced to focus on football. Because if they don't focus on football, they'll never see Premier League football again. And without Premier League football, the income that they will suffer losses in and the business valuation that their asset will deplete by will be seismic. They will have to focus on football. They won't have a choice.
Right, so you don't. Do you want Tottenham to win the next game? Is my question against on Thursday. Do you want Tottenham to beat Palace?
I want Spurs to get relegated, Sim. I can't be any more clearer. I want us to go down because I'm not going through this every year. Every single year for the last 6 years, I've been coming on We Are Tottenham TV saying ENIC out, Levy out. They're the problem. Why have we sacked Conte? Why have we sacked Mourinho? Why are we signing bang average managers like Nuno and Frank? Why is Tudor the manager? For the last 6 years, I've been saying the same thing. Nothing changes under these owners, and it's getting worse.
But
people now believe that if we stay up, that Charrington, Vinay, Lange, they're all going to change their ways. No, they're not.
Well, I'm hoping they'll go. I'm hoping V9 Land will go for sure.
And then the next idiots will be appointed. The next clown show will come in because ENIC are making the decisions. The only time ENIC will make footballing decisions is if financially they're crippled and they're not going to have any choice but to. I know most fans are going to disagree with me. They're going to call me toxic, divisive.
But isn't there another side to that? If we do go down, aren't we in big financial trouble? Could this whole thing collapse like a house of cards?
Who's we, Sim?
The club. All of a sudden we've got massive debts.
Yeah,
all of a
but the
sudden,
club
big
isn't
bills
owned by
to pay.
URI. Yeah, no, ENIC have got big bills to pay. ENIC have got financial trouble.
Yeah,
but
that could
will be
affect.
okay.
That could affect the football club. We will be okay, of course. But I'm saying the football club that we support, could if we go down, right? Can that the long-term future of the club could be at risk?
The long-term future of the owner's asset will be at risk. They will be at risk because they're going to have to find a way to salvage that money. And the only way they'll be able to salvage it is to A, sell the club, which is a massive win for us, or they're going to be forced to actually say, okay, we need a footballing plan. One that gets us back into the Premier League, one that stays in the Premier League, one that can stay in European football. And the only way they'll be able to do that with the losses they'll inherit will be proper scouting, proper coaching, an academy development plan so the youngsters in our academy progress into the first team, and they're going to have to start recruiting with intelligence instead of this scattergun approach of signing Sousas and Gallaghers and all this nonsense.
So, what if we keep getting hit with points deductions and liquidation threats and all these different things? All of a sudden, we could find ourselves struggling to get out of that league, potentially even worse if we go down with some of the financial troubles.
Yeah, and the more financial difficulty and distress we enter, the closer we get to ENIC selling the asset because they don't want it anymore because sponsors won't want to touch us, kit manufacturers won't want to touch us, corporate box holders aren't going to pay £200,000 a year for a box playing Lincoln City and Stevenage, season ticket holders aren't going to pay £95 a game. They're not even going to pay 60 quid a game. So they'll be forced to sell the asset at that point because the asset is becoming worthless to them and everyone's against them. So something has to give, Sim. If we stay in the Premier League, nothing will change, bro. All that will happen is maybe we become a top 6 side again. Maybe we get top 4 again. Maybe we get to a semi-final. Nothing will change under ENIC unless they are financially crippled. I wish us fans could force that change, Sim. I truly wish us fans could do it, but we're the weakest fan base in the Premier League. We just don't care. Our fan base doesn't care. They're happy with this because they support it. So unless we go down, it's the only way it will force change.
Do you think we will go down?
I think Crystal Palace having Lacroix sent off is a massive blow for them against Tottenham next game. I think that's a massive blow for them. I think that now gives Spurs a good chance of beating Palace. But I wouldn't be surprised if we draw against Palace. So I don't know, Sim. I don't know if we're going to go down. I think Tudor's a crap manager regardless. I think our players are set up inappropriately and they've not been taught to pass and move the ball. At least under Ange, if you look at all the passing stats, progressive passing, creative passing, forward passing, it's all 10 times better than what we've seen this season. Mm-hmm. And Tudor isn't that manager. So I don't know if we go down, Sim. I don't know. It's going to be close. Maybe yes. Maybe no. I don't think Spurs are too big to go down. I think 100% we can get relegated. But I don't want us to stay in the Premier League under ENIC. I don't. I've had enough, Sim. I'm literally at the point now where the fans are useless, the recruitment's useless, ENIC are useless. Only financial distress will force change.
What do you say to people who may argue, if we go down, it makes ENIC less likely to sell because the value of the club will drop and they'll wait to go back up before they consider selling?
So therefore, if they want the price to go back up, they need to get in the Premier League, which means they're going to be forced to develop a proper football plan. Otherwise, they won't get back in the Premier League.
But if we stay in the Prem, aren't they more likely to maybe sell if an offer comes of the right price?
The last 25 years suggests otherwise.
Yeah, but there's new people-ish. Part of the reason maybe why Levy left was because they want to facilitate a sale, potentially.
I think they're better off facilitating a sale with Levy at the wheel. Vinay's a disgrace. He's an absolute abomination of a chairman. He's shocking. I don't understand why we've got a gooner in charge of the football club. Lange is the worst recruitment officer I've ever seen at Tottenham, and we've had some shockers. We had Hitchin. He's worse than Hitchin. So no, I don't think anything changes if we stay in the Premier League. We'll be told we're sorry about last season. It's very frustrating. We've frozen the season ticket prices because we care about you fans. We're still determined for greatness. The vision and the goals stay the same. Blah 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 blah. And then in 2 years' time, we'll be back here moaning and complaining about the next project that's failed. You know, we've gone through 18,000 projects, 2,000 managers. God knows how much money we've wasted. Nothing will change with ENIC unless their pockets are truly and royally hurt. And that's where I'm at with it, Sim. I'm done with it all.
Would you still want us to win the Champions League, and if we go down?
Always. If you gave me the option of winning a trophy above everything else, I will always take the trophy. If you said Spurs will never see Premier League football for the next 5 years, but we win the Champions League, I'm taking the Champions League, Sim. Every single time.
Stel, a bombshell interview from Stel. It's good to see you, my man. But wow, Stel wants Spurs to get relegated.
Only if ENIC stay here. Only if ENIC stay here, yes, because nothing will change.
Madness. A lot of people calling you crazy in the comments, saying, what are you thinking?
They called me crazy 6 years ago when I was protesting with Brian Daigle and 20 other fans on the high street. They called me every name under the sun back then. Look at them now. I'm telling you guys, nothing will change if ENIC are here and we're in the Premier League. I'll give you my word. It won't change.
Stel will argue he's always a man ahead of his time. Nice one, Stel. Good to see you, man. And I'll speak to you soon. Cheers for calling in.
All right, big up, like and subscribe to the channel, everyone.
Big up, Stel. Craziness, and the bad news keeps coming. Arsenal have just taken the lead against Chelsea. Saliba is it Saliba? Yeah. Looks like it. So centre back to centre back. What is this club? All right, let's get Nate on the channel. Nate, how are you doing, my man? Appreciate you calling in. You
yeah.
No, you're not. You're good.
Yeah. You remember when Ben told me that my hair would look like his after 40 years of supporting Tottenham?
Yeah, already.
Well, it's only taken 3. So I don't really know what to start. I'm still kind of in shock from what Stel said. That kind of knocked me off my feet a little bit. I was not expecting that.
Do you get the logic of wanting your own team to be relegated?
I get what he's trying to say, and I definitely understand it. Look, I definitely preface against let's not get relegated, please. Let's just not. But I definitely agree with the preface of what he's saying. I think that the owners, ENIC, I mean, you know my feelings on them. Nothing will change until ultimately something catastrophically goes wrong or enough money gets put in for a sale. I read a report yesterday, I put it in the chat, that Graham Bailey reported Amanda Staveley and her husband are interested, proposing around a £3.5 million bid. Don't know if that's bullshit or not, but, you know, I'm kind of just hoping that it's true at this point. So it kind of is what it is from there. But I love Stel because he's so pulverizing and so able to make people start to ask these questions. I'm sure no one in the chat or nobody in the Zoom call would have been thinking of that. But now when you start to think about it, it definitely gives you something to think about. Do I agree with him? No, I do not personally. But do I definitely understand where he's coming from? Absolutely.
In terms of today, did you feel like we got what we deserved? Were we unlucky? You know, the first goal could have been ruled out with a foul, had a bit of a late rally. What did you feel about the game? Yeah,
I mean, it kind of is what it is. The game today, I mean, you could put both the teams in random uniforms, and I would guess that we were still the side playing like absolute dog shit if you assigned Fulham jersey on Tottenham players. I don't know what's going on right now, Sim, but we are playing the worst play I've ever seen in my life. I've played on some shocking teams in my life, and I've played against some dominant teams against some shocking teams. I honestly would take my U8 side over this Tottenham team right now. The players, Barry is right. Yes, Frank was catastrophically horrible. He was terrible. I'm glad he's gone. but some of these players are horrible, are just really, really bad. Basuma, horrible. Gallagher, I loved him that first game, but since then he's been shocking. I'd argue, I thought Poro was okay. Solanke, horrible. Moani, horrible. All these players need to be sold next season. All of them. You need a complete and utter rebuild from from actually top down. But let's be honest, the top down is not really going to happen. A lot of these players need to go. You just gotta start over. It hasn't worked. This is still part of Ange's team, some of these players. And I know we all love Ange because he won us that trophy, but his style of play was not sustainable in the Premier League. We got to start over, Sim. These players, my French, they're fucking horrible. They're just terrible.
So, do you think at the moment, first of all, just talking about the manager Tudor, does it worth even talking about the manager? What did you think about his setup today?
Who gives a shit who the manager is? Doesn't matter. Same, I can be manager and get same results. It doesn't matter because the players at his disposal are horrible. You can't expect an architect to build a beautiful house without a blueprint. It's the same thing. You can't expect quality of a leader to exhibit themselves and preface their ideas if the players he has are dog shit. And they're horrible. I cannot tell you, watching Vicario's distribution as a goalkeeper is the worst thing. It's worse than watching the goals go in. Honestly, it is shocking. I want everyone in the chat and everyone to watch. You go back to 51.5 minutes. Vicario wins. We win a free kick in our end. Van de Ven pushes up, and Vicario sends a ball of a free kick. And it goes so far wide, it hits the Tottenham fans in the away end, which is in the top right corner. It probably went 40 yards out of bounds. It was horrible. I get it. Goalkeeper, he made a fantastic save earlier today. And I really do credit him for it. But his distribution, he's a liability in build-up. So when we just try to play long every time, and Calvin Bassey and Issa Diop, who are 200-centimeter plus center backs, who just get up there and win the headers over Moani, it's not like we have anything. And why is Tudor getting rid of the midfield? There's zero midfield today. Why is Gallagher playing right wing? I don't understand it. Listen, not saying I should be a Premier League coach. I'm far off it. But I know that is a horrible decision making. That is terrible. So I think there's definitely elements of poor management in today's loss. But again, who cares who the manager is? Because you can't expect him to influence his ideas with 11 games left in the season because we waited too long with Frank. And again, that comes from the board. The same board who has ransacked this club since Pochettino left, who has done nothing but regress us since the days of Pochettino. In the days of that Champions League final, we've done nothing but step backwards. No forward movement. That Europa League. Look at Man United and look at us. Man United came on the lost of that. No Champions League football, no Europe, no money from that final. And at the end of the day, nothing will change because those owners don't have the guile and bollocks to go out there and make a change. They signed Mbeumo, Sesko, Cunha. Everyone makes fun of these players. Look at them now under Carrick. Sure, under Amorim, it was catastrophic. Look at them now. They're going to finish top 3. And we're sitting here, we're going to get relegated. Who on earth would have seen that coming based on the outcome of that final? Not me. And I don't think anybody in the chat could say the same. Appointing Vinay and Lange is the worst, and Frank was the worst appointment that I've ever seen as a sports fan in my entire life. And I've seen the Detroit Lions hire Matt Patricia in the NFL, and I've seen the Toronto Maple Leafs have just the worst coaches in my entire life. But this is an absolute disgrace, and it is terrible to watch.
Are we going down,
yes.
Nate?
Yes.
Do you think
Yes,
do you think we will get ready? Have we left it too late to try and do anything?
Yes, we have. The last game I was there with Stell, and he was reading out the pictures to me, and I was like, oh shit, we might get relegated. Kind of as a joke, and you guys all laughed and were like, oh shit, we might go down. You can look back on it on the live. I'm fucking petrified now, Sim. I'm scared. Look at who are we beating? We're not beating Villa. We're not beating Palace. We're not beating Chelsea. Like, we're not beating Leeds. Like, look at the games we have to play.
Well, Thursday Palace is massive, isn't it?
Who cares, Sim? We're not going to win. We're not going to win because our players are horrible. Our players are championship players. If Tell doesn't start, if Sousa doesn't start, like, why is Archie Gray starting at left back? He's a right-sided CDM. Ugh. We're not beating Palace, Sim. We can try unless Lacroix getting sent off might help us a bit. But, like, I can't see us winning. Like, I just can't.
Well, they've only won one in. I think they've won 1 or 2 games in 16. I think it is.
Yeah,
we've won 2 in 19.
They'll beat us. Just 2 in 19 is worse than 1 in 16. Think about it. We are a Big Six team with Champions League money. And who did we sign? We signed Xavi Simons, who is worse than Eze, and I don't want to hear what anybody says in the chat. All those horrible arguments on Twitter, people thinking that Xavi's better than Eze. Ugh, open your eyes. We signed Kudus, who played good for about maybe 6 games at the start, then got injured, so we haven't really gotten a full assessment of him. And I don't even know who else we signed. Someone fill me in, because I can't remember, because clearly they haven't made much of an influence. Gallagher for $40 million. I was waxing lyrical about Conor Gallagher when he came in, because that first game he played exceptionally. But since then, he's been horrible. He's been terrible. Listen, Sim, I think it's scary. It's not a joke anymore. And I think if we lose to Palace on Thursday and West Ham win, we're in big, big trouble.
When you watch the players out there today, do you think they have it in them when you see them play?
No, they don't. Look at Mickey van de Ven. Great player. But is he? He's fast. And he's makes a good tackle every now and then, a good block. Look at his positioning today. How many times did he a center back dribbling through midfield, getting knocked off the ball, gave us Fulham how many counters? And this, guys, 2-1 flatters us today. We should have lost 6-1. Maybe even 6-0. These players who everybody says, oh, he could go to the top, he could go play for Real Madrid. No, he can't. Because he can't beat Fulham. Last year, he couldn't beat Leicester. If a player is so good that he should be playing for Real Madrid, he should have enough of a leadership and an influence on the game to aspire unity around the players around him. And he doesn't. Romero, calling out the board. He's one of us, they say. Look, go look at his actions. Go look at his actions. Getting sent off every game. Palhinha, fighter. He's aggressive. Puts in all these slide tackles. Look at him today. Horrible. He was found out. I thought he was still playing for Fulham today. Sim, these players don't have it in them. And then the rest of our team is under the age of 22, whose adult brain has still not fully developed. Scientifically, they don't know what it means to be an adult. So how the hell are they supposed to fight in a relegation battle? When you've got kids who are 19, 22, 21, they don't. None of them have what it takes. So I'm scared. Are we going to go down? Maybe, maybe not. Even if we do, does it really matter? Of course it does. I don't know what Stell's on about. I appreciate his point, but we've got to stay in the Prem. Like, come on. We will be bantered forever, and we probably won't go back up. Look at Leicester. They won the league 10 years ago. They're struggling to get back up. Look where they are.
And they might go down again, yeah.
You're never too big to get relegated. It's scary times right now, Sam. And I think Pochettino is not going to change that, even if he comes in the summer. Because Pochettino had Harry Kane, who's the best English striker of all time, besides maybe Jimmy Greaves, Alan Shearer. Prime Heung-min Son, prime Eriksen, prime Dele, Moussa Dembele as his 6. He had, like, Toby and Yan, who are miles better than Romero and Van de Ven. Like, I don't know if he's got what it takes. Who knows? So I think, listen, the bottom line is on ENIC. If ENIC sell, we will finish top 4 with no Europe next year. Mark my words. If ENIC sell, and there's a new manager where we will not have European football and we can focus on domestically in England, we will finish top 4. If they do not sell next year, we'll either be in the championship or be in another relegation fight. End of story.
Nate, good to see you, my friend. Appreciate you calling in.
My head is gone. Literally, my hair is gone, and so is my head.
Oh, hopefully next time you call in will be after 3 points, but I'm not sure how long that's going to be. But
Well, I got a better chance of winning the lottery soon. Take care, guys.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Nate. Oh, dearie me. Everyone is struggling at the moment. Let's get Josh on. Maybe he can give us something to look at. Maybe something to take from today. Maybe he noticed something we all missed. Maybe he saw some positivity. Let's get him on. Josh, good to see you, my friend. Thanks for calling in.
How you going, boys?
Another defeat today. We're getting closer and closer to that. Well, I mean, not this week because West Ham and Forest lost, but, right in the thick of that relegation fight. We've changed the manager. We've lost the first 2 games under the new manager. What did you make of what you saw today?
Yeah, I just think it's sort of more of the same. And I think you've got to understand the environment that the guys are operating under now. Most of these people have been under a very pressurized environment for a while, but this is different now because, you were talking about the team that is now up on the wall in the halls at Tottenham after winning the Europa League. If there was a hall for ineptitude, they're probably going to be on that wall, right? So look, I agree with Stel, but I think if you preface it in a number of different ways, it can make a little bit more sense, right? So if you were to break up your fans, and I guess I'm doing this because I guess where I come from, it's a whatever it takes mentality, right? So to reach the top level of sport, what do you got to do? Whatever it takes. And you don't necessarily know what you have to do at the outset. You just know that it's going to, ask things of you that you never thought you'd be asked, and then you've then got to go ahead and achieve them, right? So when I look at the sort of fan that I am, as far as what do I want to see from Spurs, I want to see championship wins. I want to see them win the league. I want to see them win Champions League. I want those moments where those pinnacle moments where it's like, okay, that was special. And unfortunately, with the situation that the club's in, particularly with the ownership and who are making decisions within the club, I remember saying maybe 3 or 4 months ago that if Spurs are to, let's just say, pivot from everything that they've been over the last, I don't know, decades, so to speak, what is it going to take? What's it going to take, and how long is it going to take? And I said, expect the journey to be confident that you are a team that can perpetually challenge for the top titles. It's going to take Spurs 10 years. And people were like, 10 years? I can't wait 10 years. Well, I'm sorry. That's what success year after year after year takes when you're at the attitude and the performance of a club like Spurs. So if you take the flip side of that and you go, okay, well, what does it cost? What are the potential costs? I have no issue with going down, because I agree with Stel in that the arrogance of the ownership and the decision makers within the club, they need the most brutal situation to fall on them. That's the only way they're going to take a look at themselves and go, hang on a minute, we're not operating the right way here, because the squad has changed, the management's changed, the football department's changed. Still the same things are reoccurring season after season. Yeah, sure, we had a blip with Ange with the Europa League, but there were some stars and moons that aligned for that to happen, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, if you're a week-to-week fan and you just want to see your club hopefully get the 3 points, then the concept of going down is just, I mean, you just want to vomit in your mouth, right? If you're in between that and where I am, it's still very difficult to concede that and I sent you a text message today because a good mate of mine's an Arsenal fan, and he's after Fulham went 1-0 up, I said I sent him like a GIF that was like, we're going down, and then when we went 2-0 down, he sent me a text. He's like, come on Spurs, pick it up. And I sent him a text back. I said, I wonder what rounds we'll be playing Wrexham next year. Like giggle, but that's I don't know. Like I can't tell whether we're going to go down. We are on the precipice. There's no doubt about that. I've got a sneaky feeling we're going to avoid it by something that is, you know, a miracle of sorts. And again, maybe that's enough for the ownership to look back. But for the change that has to happen in Spurs, we have to go somewhere where we're all too afraid to admit that we probably need to go for that sort of change to take place.
When you're looking at the first two games under Tudor, do you see when you're looking at the game, do you see any difference in the players, what they're trying to do, kind of maybe their mentality on the pitch? Do you think are they pressing harder? Are they trying new things? Is there more confusion with the way he wants to play? Because it's like all of a sudden he's changed the formation and he's also playing players out of position. It seems they seem very confused again on the pitch, don't they? That was Frank's issue, apparently. He was too technical, too tactical, like always a different system every week, all this kind of stuff. When you're watching them in the first two games, is there anything you look at and think, if we keep doing that, maybe we can start getting results? Or is it still just not, you said not much has changed, but is there anything nuanced you can see there or subtle that maybe you think could start getting us results?
Look, the first game, I thought attitudinally there was some stuff that I saw about their application. There were some situations where their desire to get into a situation one-on-one to be challenged and either win that duel or get the outcome of that duel. I saw some things enough to go, okay, wow, that's different, right? And again, that I don't put that down to the manager. I just put that down to, like if you've got any pride whatsoever, you've been a part of this squad watching the whole thing unfold and deflate, and you've got to go, hang on a minute, how many more managers have to go before people start pointing the finger at me? So that is a great motivator as far as your self-performance. But yeah, look, and I don't agree with the people who are saying the squad is crap. Sorry, that's not entirely true. I don't agree with the people who think the majority reason is that the squad is poor. Is it not good enough? 100%. We all know that it's not good enough, right? But the key indicator to me is that there are players that were better players under Ange than they've been under Frank and under Igor, understanding that Igor's had two matches, right? But and I'm not saying that that's necessarily down to the man management that Ange had, but I think the style of play that Ange wanted to play, the players are buying into that more than they're buying into what Frank is trying to do, and in a short period of time, what Igor is trying to do, right? Soccer teams want to score goals. That's what they want to score. It's those moments that motivate you to then generate them. And so you've had this team that was trying to instill, a particular attacking playing style, and sure had some challenges around injuries. Then you come in and Frank's, with the pragmatic style. And do you know what I mean? Like, I liken it to, I don't know whether I've sort of mentioned this before. Can you imagine Usain Bolt turning up to training one day and his coach going, "We're scrapping the 100 and 200. You're a marathon runner now." You imagine he'd go, "Huh? What? What are you talking about?" Right? That's literally the evolution of what has happened. And then on top of that, you take the what's the word? The empathy for a manager who has taken you to a title, right? And the first time in Europe in 41 years, 17 years, a trophy or whatever those years are. And that whole rug has been pulled out from underneath you. That guy that believed in you every single day, that elevated your performance both as an individual and as a team to get to that point, and then the whole thing comes crashing down. And this other guy who does not have a winning cell in his body comes in late, not supported. I mean, like, we've all had jobs where we turn up to work and we're going, "What in the world am I doing here?" Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? That's what the players are facing every single day. So the environment is not conducive to perform at your best. And that's what Spurs is. That's what it is. At a decision-making point, the cycling of the managers, not investing in players with their weekly wages. It's just a mess. And what's going to make that change? Obviously, nothing to date has happened that has brought about that change. So what is left in front of us to bring about that change? Relegation. Mm-hmm. I don't want the team to go down. What I want is a team that is capable of challenging for titles. And I think on that road from now to challenging for titles is relegation. I think we're at that point.
When you grow to think about the psychology of the players, when you've got a lot of players like Romero, Van der Ven, to be fair, you can pretty much say every player in the squad. No one obviously came to Tottenham to be in a relegation battle, right? No, like you come to Tottenham because you want to be challenging for Europe or, in the higher echelons of the league. That's why all these players are here, because they think Tottenham are capable of that. So when you look at like West Ham and Forest and whatever, those teams, they kind of like aware of where they are. They understand that at this club is possibility you could be in this position, and like, so when it comes to the psychology going into games, they're fighting tooth and nail for every point. Whereas at Tottenham, it's like when you've got to scrap and fight and the reward is you get to stay in the league. Do you feel like psychologically wise, is that enough of, obviously it should be, but is that enough of like a motivation for these players to like give absolutely everything? Because I think we saw that when the prize was at Europa League, right? And that was in front of them. They gave it their all and they put everything into it. Whereas when the motivation was down in the Premier League, the last season, the league was done, we weren't getting relegated. You saw how the motivation dropped. Right now, all they got to play for is survival. But when these players are used to fighting for those big things, like, where do you think their head's at when it comes to that? Do you really believe they're scrapping for every ball? They're putting everything into it. Is survival enough in their minds to be having that extra bit, going that extra yard? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. First things first. The club recruitment, what Spurs doesn't have is a nucleus of leadership, strong character type players, right? Mm-hmm. 4 or 5 that are either, influencing the younger players in the team, because we obviously have a young and relatively inexperienced squad. So we don't, and what you need is you probably need 2 of them in the defensive line, 2 of them in the midfield line, and your striker by definition needs to be a leader, right? We don't have that. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is you get what you focus on. Okay, now your brain is very clever with this sort of stuff, right? So why were the players when they were given an opportunity, and again, let's think about this from a decision-making standpoint. They were in the knockout phases even before, but at the point where they knew they were going to be in the knockout phase of the Europa League, right? Ange was making decisions to facilitate success, right? Mm-hmm. How did he do that? He rested players from league matches, right? So if you're a player and you're in the squad and you're sitting back and going, is this just hot air? Is this guy just trying to sell me a dream? No. He's actually making decisions that at the time were damaging to his record and damaging to the chances of him having his 3rd season, right? So you think about that player and how they view that manager, that he's prepared to put himself and his record and success second for their record and success. Okay, right? So you get what you focus on, okay? So everything was focused at some point, probably in late January, early February, everything was focused on the final in Bilbao. Mm-hmm. Everything, right? So it wasn't we made it, let's start focusing on it. Nah, that's how long that runway was, right? So you get what you focus on. What are they focusing on now? They're focusing on avoiding relegation. Your brain doesn't hear avoid. It hears relegation. Right? It doesn't hear. It's like, my wife says all the time, she goes, I say, don't forget this. She goes, remember this, right? Mm. Because what does my brain hear? It hears forget. Mm-hmm. So what happens? I forget, right? So when you understand like high performance psychology, all that is happening is we are propagating what we're focusing on, and that's my real fear in going down, because we would be better off focusing on getting 13th or 14th. Pick a ladder position. That's what we're going to target, right? Now, if you do that, you automatically avoid relegation. But I don't see that in how they're performing, and I don't see that in how the manager's setting them up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it makes perfect sense. But when we've got like the Champions League, that's still there as well. Like, you know, Romero's already said this season in interviews, we have a different mentality in the Champions League. Like obviously from fans, a lot of fans are saying, oh, you know, we just got to chuck that. You got to focus on staying in the Premier League. But do you think the players, they won't see it that way, because that's the only shot for them of something glorious coming from this season, or something they actually, you know, want to be competing for, rather than back to the Premier League where you're just trying to survive? So would you be surprised if when the Champions League comes around, you see that little bit of extra motivation?
Well, look, I think we have, for sure. And again, that reinforces what I was talking about what happened last year, right? You think about the league, like it's literally a cancer. Our results, you know, historically even halfway through Ange's first season, obviously Ollie's second season, apart from the first 4-6 weeks of this season, it's been horrible, right? So psychologically, the players get on a Champions League pitch and they're a new team, right? And you see evidence of their performance that it's been far better. I still think there's an element of who we played. We did have a very soft draw. But I still think, you know, when we play the first leg of the knockout stages, I still think you'll see a team that is playing without the scars of the league, right? And again, that's just, you know, you think of walking out now into Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next week against is Palace next week? Yeah,
Thursday.
You know, like Thursday. And even what Tell said about feeling the pressure. You know, this is real pressure. Like, are you playing to win a game, or you're playing to not get booed at halftime? It's a different player. You're not playing free then, right? You're playing cautiously because you're trying to avoid making a mistake that could lead to a 1-0 down situation. And that's the biggest difference between, I mean, 2 games with Igor, but Frank and Ange. Ange gave them the freedom. The number of times I heard him say this: I don't care about your mistakes. I don't care how many you make. Just go out there and force the game, right? Because when you put yourself into those situations, it's inevitable that you're going to make better decisions that make particular plays less risky the more times you find that yourself in them. Right? He gave them that freedom. And that's how we were able to get... The reason why Brennan Johnson scored so many goals is because we're able to get the ball from our defensive final third into the front third so quickly, and people call him a tap-in merchant. It's what happened. And that's not fair, because he actually did score some really good goals. He was open at the goal mouth because of how quickly we got the ball from the defensive third to the front third, right? The defenses could not make decisions quick enough, and then all he's got to do is tap it in. Like, and rather than what happened to get that point being what we talk about Johnson, who's, you know, he's a tap-in merchant. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, what we could do with Brendan Johnson right now for sure. It's it was mental, like how we let him go in January, and winger was the number 1 priority position to improve in January, and we ended up with 1 less winger than we started the month with. It was absolutely astonishing. Do you think right now we're in this position with you know, the manager having to come in and firefight and change things so quickly, and he's only got now 10 games to save us? Like, are we, when you're looking at where we are and how things haven't improved immediately with Frank gone, how does that, what conclusions do you take from that? Do you conclude like it was the wrong decision to fire Frank? Did we wait too long to fire Frank, or do we have to give Tudor just a bit more time to implement something? Does he have enough time? Like, right now we're in big trouble, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's chaos now. It's utter chaos. Like, again, you think about what's at stake for the players every practice session, every match. it's super, super high stakes now because, and for the people who think the club, is under financial threat. I mean, I think about two things, right? If you own $100,000, if you owe $100,000, that's your fault, right? If you owe $1 billion, or if you owe $100,000, you're in trouble, right? If you owe $1 billion, the bank's in trouble, right? Spurs isn't going. They may go insolvent. They'll be refinanced. They'll be bought out. Like Spurs will endure. There's no question about that. But yeah, I just think again they sacked. I didn't agree with sacking Ange, but if you're going to make the decision, you should have made it way earlier. Same with Frank. But again, these are people who are not. You got to be so ruthless in high performance sport, like almost cruelly so. Like a story, the Brisbane Broncos, which are a rugby league team back in Australia. Halfway through each season, they come to every player and they say, "You're in our plans for the next year, or you're not." Straight up, like they give them that window of time to be able to find a new club. Or they can, if they've got a long-term contract, but they literally are not playing first grade, right? So they're that ruthless. And as a result, they've been successful over many, many years. And Spurs just don't have that DNA about what success actually takes. It's cruel, brutal, ruthless. It's all of those sorts of things that the club dances around those sorts of decisions. I don't know why they do it. I don't have the answers to it, but
it's what Scott Munn said in a recent interview. I don't know if you saw that.
No, what did he say?
He said yesterday, a couple of days ago in an interview, he was saying in the boardroom there isn't a culture of success. He said because he was on the board at Man City. And he said, if they ever had a year where they didn't win a trophy or anything like that, or maybe they lost a game.
I did see that.
He said they were saying it's unacceptable, and there was a real culture of when the best standards. Whereas at Tottenham, he said he didn't get that feeling within the boardroom, like losing or not winning a trophy. It wasn't a big deal. That wasn't their focus.
Yeah. I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, so it's interesting to hear from someone within the boardroom. But what would you be surprised if if we don't? Well, let's say on Thursday we lose again to Palace. Could they even be considering a third change? Third change, second change.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't. I'm still getting used to the next this iteration. I don't know where you go to from here. I mean, I didn't know where you went with Frank being let go, but. Look, I was hopeful we'd get a draw today and if we got a point today, I think that would have been amazing. If we lose next week, I still don't think it's a 50-50 chance that we go down, but I think if we lose next week, I think it's right on the edge, because I look at there's a week where I think Forest play Burnley and West Ham play Wolves. Oh my Lord.
Jesus.
Like that's in the same weekend. I think it's in 2 or 3 rounds. No, maybe 3 rounds time. Mid-March, something like that. I mean, that's panic stations that weekend, And I think I've got a sneaky suspicion that we're going to have to beat Leeds the second last week to stay up. I think.
Oh man, it is. It's absolutely diabolical at the moment. But look, Josh, it's great to speak to you as always. Appreciate you coming on.
Guys.
It's nice to see you. And look, let's hope better circumstances next time you call in.
Let's hope Big up, guys.
Good to see you, man. Thanks for calling in. That was Josh. While he was on, it's half time at the Emirates. It is 1-1. So Chelsea have equalised and are back in the game. So very interesting game unfolding at the Emirates. Let's get Alex. He is in the back end. Let's get his opinion. Alex, cheers for calling in, mate. How are we doing today?
Man, I'm just so despondent, honestly, that we've become so boring to watch. Like, there's no patterns of play going forward. We can't break down a low block. It's just crap. And
what are you seeing anything from Tudor at the moment?
From Tudor, no chance. I mean, I was excited when we appointed him. Well, not excited, but I was hopeful that, something might change. It might give the players the shot up the arm that they need, but like playing Gallagher right midfield, just crazy to me. Gray at left back, like we are a bit just fans, right? But we all know that that's not going to be enough to break a team down. So yeah, that's really disappointing to me. To be honest, I'm not sure it's his fault. I think there aren't that many fit players, so there's probably like 2 decisions max that he has to make any given week. But yeah, I don't know, man. When the second goal went in, honestly, I just sort of laughed a bit, which is maybe not a good thing. I was just kind of like, oh great, here we go again. This is it again. And that was it. And then we never looked like we were going to get back into. Obviously, we had 10 good minutes, but that was it.
Do you feel like we got screwed over with the first goal, or was it not a foul?
Yeah, like on the margin, I think it's probably like a 60-40 should have been a foul. Where I think we've been screwed over is that we've lost every 50-50 decision like that, right? The Ekatike one on Romero didn't get given. The Muani one did get given as a foul. Then this one didn't get given as a foul. So I don't feel very strongly that it's definitely a foul or it's definitely not a foul, but it's just when every single one of those 50-50s has kind of gone against us, it is material, right? Like it does impact you. So I think we've been a bit unlucky there, but I don't think that's why we lost. I have to be honest. Like we're just crap. We're so bad. We're so bad, and I don't understand why.
Was there anything in the way we approached the game or the way they're set up? Do you think it was different to how Frank plays? Is it the case of they're still getting that out of their system, or is that just how Tudor wants us to set up? Like, what's your feeling on that?
The thing that disappoints and scares me the most is just looks like there's no patterns of play, no movement that's been worked on where it's like, I know you're going to run in there to create the space so that this other man can cut in, or whatever it might be. That it just doesn't look like there's any of that. Like they're just making it up as they go going forward, and that is just unforgivable. It's like, what have you been working on? Like what have you actually been working on? So no, the only thing I'll say like as a positive, because I think people have been pretty negative. I'm feeling pretty negative, but I was thinking about like how can we get out of this, and I think at this point we can't just play like the best players anymore. You have to play the players who are going to fight. That's the only thing that we can have to drag us out of this. I think Tell was really good when he came on. Like, okay, maybe not really good. He was good. He was beating his man. He beat his man 3 or 4 times in the whatever half an hour he was on. So if he was on for the whole 90, you could say maybe he'll beat his man 10 times. And that's probably enough to create a goal. I think he's got the right attitude. I think I said this. The only other time I've come on is after we beat Frankfurt last year, and in the Europa League, and I said then, like, I think Tell's got the right attitude. He's the only one with the right attitude. He's like wanting to try things. Okay, it might not work every time, but he's going again, trying to beat his man, trying to create stuff. So we need to play him. Sousa looked all right as well, I'll say. Obviously only half an hour or 20 minutes or whatever, but he looked decent. So I think just play the players who give a shit. Play the players who are fighting, not like Muani doesn't care. He's on loan. He really doesn't care if we stay up or go down. So just don't start him. Who else doesn't look like they care? Basuma doesn't give a shit. His contract's up, right? Like and we already know he's got bad attitude, but now his contract's up. Stop playing him. He's not going to be fighting. So I think we just need to play the players who care. And that's the only thing that's going to get us out of this.
In terms of the relegation fight, we kind of got away with it a bit this week in terms of West Ham, Forest also losing. But with the form that we're in, and you know, I watched West Ham play yesterday. I know they lost, but they are much better than what we showed today. They actually play some good football at times, and they were, I think 5-2 probably flattered Liverpool a bit, to be honest. So when you're looking at that, do you see us staying up? Do you think we are going to stay up?
So I agree with you. I get jealous now when I'm watching West Ham. I'm like, oh, they've actually got a couple moves together. Their players are trying. Somerville looks good. Like, wow, that's exciting. And they're fighting. We're not. And so inside, on all my WhatsApp groups with my mates, I'm like, yeah, we're getting relegated. Like, we're just shit. But I'll be lying if I said I really believe we're going to get relegated. Like, there's that little bit of me that I'm sure we all have that it still doesn't believe it's going to happen to us. Like, surely we're going to turn it around. But every single week that goes by, we're not turning it around. And the opportunities to turn it around are getting, fewer and fewer. So I still think, if I'm being completely honest, I still think we're going to stay up. But I'm not seeing anything that's giving me hope. It's just I'm hopeful that they are going to change somehow.
Somehow, yeah, we'll get a few wins out of the bag. We're 2 wins in 19. That's half a season.
Insane.
That's
it's
half
insane.
a season.
I can't believe it. It's insane that if you doubled that, so a whole season, that would be four wins.
Well, that would
That's
be
insane. It's Tottenham.
that would be like
what the
record.
fuck
That
is-
would be like record low, like nearly.
It's insane. I don't understand what's happening. And I slightly disagree with people who are saying it's all the players are crap, to be honest. Like, I don't think these are. Okay, we don't have any superstars anymore, but I don't think these are all bad players. Like, Solanke scored whatever it was, 19, 20 goals at Bournemouth, right? Like, he's a good player. We've seen what he's done when he was at Bayern. Xavi Simons, he's not a bad player. Paulinho's a great player. We saw what he did at Fulham. Van de Ven Romero, Porro, great players. So I don't believe that but I just can't believe that this is Tottenham. Like, what are we doing? What are we actually doing here? Like,
Stel, you know, I don't know if you were watching the stream earlier, but Stel called in and said he wants Tottenham to get relegated. He said if anything to get ENIC out of his football club, ENIC need to change and they need something drastic if they're ever going to get themselves a house in order. What do you think about that?
No, look, I'm not here to slag him off. I don't know him, but I've watched you guys for years, so I feel like I know him. But that was crazy. To me, that was crazy. I mean, he's obviously got valid. Well, I think this is what Tottenham does to you. It makes you crazy. So I don't think it's his fault. I think that's a crazy opinion, personally. But I understand that Tottenham has driven him there. Tottenham has made me have some crazy thoughts over the years. But I disagree with him that I think his logic is he's just so desperate to get ENIC out, which I think, we all are. I am too. I think we're never going to achieve anything with them as owners because they just cheap out all the time and take the easy route. But I disagree with him that the way to get them out is to get relegated. I am scared that if we get relegated, it plunges us down and down into loads of problems. I also don't think they would sell if we get relegated because the only thing that they want is to eventually sell Tottenham for billions, right? The minute you get relegated, your valuation's going to half or whatever it is.
Yeah, but his point is it would force the club to put football as a priority because it would have to be to get back into the Premier League.
I just disagree. If being 17th last year didn't force them to put football as a priority,
because we got away with it. He's saying he got away with it last year, winning his own.
Yeah, but then we have 12 players injured, and what do you do in January? You sell a winger and don't replace him. So they're never going to take it seriously as a priority. Like, these are already desperate times. The alarm bells should have been ringing ages ago. They were ringing for us right after Chelsea game, after West Ham game. Like, these were shocking performances. So I just disagree with him, because he's entitled to his opinion. It's just one's opinion versus the other. But they are not taking it seriously now when it's desperate times. So what makes you think that getting relegated will make them take it seriously? They're just jokers. They're absolute jokers.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, though, isn't it? That we're in this situation when the financial money and power that we have compared to we're one of the richest clubs, financially in Europe.
We've blown the advantage that we have, or that we should have had. Right, we should have been making more revenues than all these other clubs with the stadium, with the fan base we have, with Son bringing in loads of money from Korea. They had every advantage, and yet you got Villa, who have absolutely nailed what they've done. They look at what obviously they've got some PSR issues, but look at how much better they've been run than us, or the likes of Brighton, Brentford, whatever it is. These people are incompetent who are in charge of Tottenham. They have the advantage, and yet they're still worse than the others, which means you're providing negative value by what you're doing. It's just insane.
Yeah, I agree. So I think it's not even a case of sacking a manager or chucking money at the problem. I think it's the decisions these guys are making.
They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it. They're obviously it's easy for me to sit here and criticize, but they have shown that with an advantage, with more revenue than the others, with a better brand name, bigger pool as a club, better stadium, you still fuck it up. You still do it worse. So and the other clubs, they're all building new stadiums. They're all improving. They're all getting, a better brand, doing better at marketing themselves. So that difference, that advantage that you have is getting smaller and smaller. So if you're already worse than them with the advantage, imagine how bad you're going to be when they've caught up. It's just awful. They need to get out, and I don't know how, as a fan base, we can do it. We've protested, we boycotted, whatever it is, but we just need to sell. And this is where I disagree with Stel. I think the way that we get them to sell is actually for the valuation to go up, so that they get an offer that is for them, they're greedy, that is good enough for them to take. And hopefully we get better owners rather than we go down, because I don't think then they'll sell. So, yeah, I think we really need the valuation to go up.
Thing is, are they ever going to get us to a point where the valuation's going back up again? That's
Yeah,
the
exactly,
problem.
exactly. We're fucked.
We're so screwed, man. But look, Alex, been a pleasure having you on, mate. Appreciate you calling in.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you soon. No, great call, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling in.
Cheers. See ya.
See you, Alex. That was good stuff. Oh, not looking good. Let's get Amir in the house. Let's get him on. Let's see what he's got to say.
How are we doing, Sim? How are we doing?
Man, I think I'm more invested in this bloody Arsenal game than I think I was invested in Tottenham today. We are a shambles. Another defeat, Amir. Tudor not able to get any points yet in his second game.
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn from today?
Well, I learned a couple of things. First of all, Richie and Tell need to start. They're two of the only players really that showed me, fight and that actually want to perform and keep us in the league. Another thing, maybe Souza, the young Brazilian fella. I thought he did well when he came on as well. Made a few nice runs, put in a nice ball there for Sarr, who really should have done better with that finish. Another thing, I think that we need to apply pressure on the referees, PGMOL or whatever it's called, the arbitrary body, because unfortunately I've heard a few wild things here on the show, Sim. Barry thinking that's not a foul. I don't, if that's not a foul, I don't know what is a foul, to be honest with you, because Dragassin's winning the ball until he gets pushed two hands and then he doesn't win the ball. So for me, it's a clear foul. That needs to be looked into, and the club need to be pressuring the governing bodies to because it's 1 week it's this, 1 week it's that. It's just, you don't know. You just, it's absolute madness. But I think that there were signs of positivity there towards the end of the game, and I actually do think we deserved a point out of that game.
Really? Do you?
Yeah, I really do. I really do, Sim. I know we weren't great, and I know there's so much negativity going around the fan base at the moment, and I think that one of the ways to deal with that is to just fully get behind this team. The other thing that I couldn't believe I was hearing was Stell saying he wants us to go down. I mean, that to me, and trying to find some logic around that, to me that's absolute madness. I think we need delusional optimism to keep us in this league and go on a Champions League run. We should be trying to compete in that as well. And we all need to get behind the team. The players are devoid of confidence. The manager, he's just come in. He doesn't have a clue what to do quite yet with the formation, which players are going to play for him, which players aren't. He's got to figure that out very, very quickly, does Igor. And I'm just hoping that, at Palace, against Palace, we show that fight, and we've got a real opportunity there to go and get 3 points, put some distance between us and the bottom three. And that's what we need to do. That's what we need to focus on. It's pointless going around here blaming this manager, this player, that player. This isn't the time for that. We need to fight. Our Premiership lives are on the line. We are in big, big trouble. And I still don't think a lot of fans get it. I think a lot of fans think we're just going to stay up because, we're Tottenham and we're too good to go down. There's no too good to go down. We've seen better teams than us go down. And honestly, the Championship is such a tough league that if we go down, there's no promise we're going to come back up. It will be absolutely catastrophic for this club if that happens.
Stell's point is, if we were to go down, ENIC won't sell, but it will force them to put a footballing plan in place, because they would have to be a priority if they wanted the value of the club to go back up.
No, I agree with what Alex was saying. Alex was spot on. They're more likely to sell if the value goes up, not if it goes down. If they goes down,
no, but he's saying to get the value back up, they would have to put football as a priority if we were to go down. Because
but then we're in the Championship. How's the value going to go up? The best way to get the value to go up is to keep us in the league and go on a Champions League run and invest in the team in the
But
summer.
he's saying we need something drastic to happen to this club to shake them, shake them to their cause. Because as long as we stay in this division
Mate.
and getting that Premier League revenue, they're going to think just throwing money at the situation will solve it, where they don't have a footballing strategy in place.
Listen, if the risk of relegation isn't enough to light a fire up these guys' asses, I don't know what is, Sim, to be honest with you. And for me, fans wanting their team saying I want my team to go down, it doesn't make sense to me. It's absolutely bananas. I just don't understand it. It's like going into a cup final and saying we want to lose. It's madness. It's absolute madness. And look, I feel for him, and I feel for any fan that has that feeling, because it's like Spurs have driven them around the bend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a really tough time now for the club, and I really do think that to counter everything that we're going through, we need to come together as a fan base and get behind the team, the manager, everything. And those fans at Fulham, through my TV, I could hear them that whole first half, even when we were 2-0 down. They were brilliant. And that's what we need, Sim. That's what we need in the stadium on Thursday. That's what we're going to need out in Madrid. And that's what we're going to need in this fight to stay up, because we are in a relegation dogfight. And you've got teams down there scrapping. West Ham scrapping. Forest scrapping. It's very nervy times, Sim. Very nervy times.
Do you think did you see anything today that you think, we take that into Palace and maybe we can get a win there and really kind of get some breathing space between us and the bottom three?
I did. I saw a few things there. I saw Richie and Tell come on and really change the game and influence. I wanted them on at half time, to be honest with you. I thought, with all due respect to Kolo Muani, I thought he was awful in that first half. And considering he's a lone player, I don't really want to see him play too many more minutes. Just really, really poor. I thought Gray was being played out of position. He wasn't having a good half, but then he came through with a lovely assist. So, I just think there are a few glimpses there that we saw in the second half, and things positives that we can take. Richie's fighting for this badge and for this club and wants to keep us up. You can see when Tell came on as well. I know he gets a lot of grief as well, but he did well when he came on, and actually it was his kind of pre-assist for Archie there that would, really good play, and he's direct, which is what we need. Xavi been playing out of position. He was just ineffective and not in the game at all. So Tudor needs to figure it out. It's a very quick learning curve. Get Xavi behind the striker. Get wingers wide, bombing down. Get players in the right positions.
He's got 10 games to learn it. He's only got 10 games to learn it, doesn't he? Or not even. He's got to learn it before that, but he's got to do it quickly. I mean, this is a problem, isn't it? When we left it so long to sack Frank, we're now in this situation where it's just not so little time to get things right.
Exactly, Sim. But this is the thing, right? This is what they're paid the big bucks for. They need to be getting these decisions right from now on in, and so do the referees. Look, apart from being not great at the back today, that game really did swivel on that goal. If it was 1-1, we take a point, and the discussions here are completely different. So I do have some sympathy for not just for Igor, but for the players as well, because when you go 2 down like that so early and you get dejected, it sucks a lot out of you. But I really do think that if we show fight, grit, determination, passion, we can still stay up. It's still in our hands. It's not. We're not in the relegation zone trying to get out of it. We're fighting, scrapping for points. And for me, the 2 critical games are Palace and Forest. Of course, we can try and get points in some of the other games, but those 2 for me, I've labelled as we need 3 points in both of those games if we want to stay up.
Amir, good to see you, my friend. Looking forward to seeing you next week in Madrid.
Indeed. Feeling confident about that one, Sim? Can we nick something?
Maybe. We're much better in the Champions League, that's for sure.
We are. I'll tell you what. I'll bite your hand off for a draw right now out there.
Nice one. I'll catch you in a bit.
Take it easy.
Good
Take
to see
it
you,
easy,
Amir.
mate.
All right, that was Amir. Let's get. Wow, I haven't seen this guy in a while. Let's get Marcelo on the channel. Marcelo, my man, good to see you.
Bro, it's finished.
It's
We're done.
finished. I thought you'd only come
I
on
wanted
when
to come
we're
in and
good
hype
again.
you, bro. But like, listen,
Oh man, I missed
you know
the hype
what?
man, the ultimate hype man.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy, Sam? I remember all these years us arguing about Harry Winks, Sissoko, all these guys, man. You know what I would give to get them back, bro? You know, just guys that can just. You know what, bro? Those guys weren't good at football. We've never had the best footballers at our club. You know, like we never had. You know, I mean, we've had some great footballers. Don't get me wrong, but the lack of passion, the lack of just fight from this team, it's crazy, bro. It's like it's honestly wild, and it's concerning because like I look at these other teams beneath us, and it's like there's we have better quality, bro. We have players with some better quality. You know, this is some bullshit. You know, I'm not accepting this. You know, these guys are just choosing to just show up, get a paycheck, and you know, fuck off to another club. Van de Ven, bro. You know, all these guys singing Mickey Van de Ven. You know, bro, that guy. You know, he's thinking about Liverpool. You know, Christian Romero, he's thinking about Argentina. These guys don't care about Spurs. You know, say what you will about the Harry Winks, say what you will about the Sissoko, say what you will about those guys, bro. They play for the badge. Sissoko played with a fucking torn ACL, bro. Or like a hamstring. I don't remember. Like it was partially torn, you know, for that Champions League run. You know, what is this, bro? What has happened to our football club? The heart has been absolutely fucking drained, bro. There is no heart in this club anymore.
What? Why is that? What? How has it come to this?
Because, bro, we've hired some sidemen that they don't do nothing, bro. They're just coming in for a paycheck, and you know we keep promoting these guys and we keep singing their songs, and you know, listen, I celebrated that Europa League. You know, I cried, I hugged my best friend. I was at the pub that day. I took the day off. I worked countless days. You know, and I still watch this team play, and you know they let me down, but that day they didn't. You know, and you know I give them credit for that day, but man, you know what? Like you gotta have a little bit of consistency. You gotta have a little bit of pride. You know, you gotta have a little bit of like you know you're professionals, man. You're professional footballers. You know it's a disgrace that what we're seeing from the top, you know, and Brian and I we've spoken about this, you know, we've constantly talked about Enoch, you know, this channel's constantly been on Enoch, man. You know, this whole thing, Enoch out, Enoch in, whatever, bro. At the end of the day, these motherfuckers are the ones that are on the pitch, man. And you know the lack of you know the skill, lack of care. We're not fit. We're not a fit team. Everybody runs over us, bro. You know, I watch us, you know, run for a ball, and you know, everybody beats us to us. I know it, bro. I know we're not gonna get to the ball. I know everybody wins a second ball. You know, these are things that you can do just by having a little bit of passion, winning the second ball, making tackles, getting stuck in, bro. You know, we see that maybe from one or two players, and we'll see that for a minute, and then we'll get excited. But that's when teams are 2-0 up. That's when they're comfortable, man. They're comfortable. They already got the lead. They're chilling. It's I can't believe what's happened in this football club, man. It's actually like I knew it. You know, I've had some tough fucking seasons supporting it, you know, but like holy fucking shit, man. I'm sorry, I'm swearing, lads. I don't want to get demonetized,
it's all right. When you're watching the game today. What you know?
Yeah, no, I watched it. I watched it, bro.
What did you take away from that game? Like specifically, like why we lost the game?
I never thought there would be a worse center back since Dyer until I met Dragushin, bro. That guy is absolutely a fucking like a donkey with like he has like those visors in, man. He can't see sideways, he can't block, he can't turn, he can't tackle, he can't do anything, man. It's like it's like a wide open gap, and then I'm seeing Tudor playing Archie Gray on the left, when we have a left back, I've seen people say this, on the call, what are we doing? Can we just play players on their natural position? These are basic things in football that we just don't do. We do nothing right in this football club, Seb. Absolutely nothing. From recruitment, tactics, like nothing, and it's, you'll see Poro isolated on the width. He has nobody to cross to, nobody making, runs. They're constantly just behind defenders, nobody trying to break off defenders. You'll see Richie, and like I give him crap more than anybody because he's my countryman. And, he doesn't play like it. He doesn't play like a Brazilian. He doesn't have the flair, but I'll say this about him. He gets stuck in. He at least will try to get us a goal. More than Solanke, more than Mwani, more than these guys. They don't do any of that. So you see Solanke doing these fucking, like these little flicks. These little like trying to get these scorpion kick goals. Just do the basics, man. We're in a relegation battle. just do the basics. These guys, they don't do any of the basics. No triangles, no attacking the whips, no pace. It's all dead, bro.
What have you made of Tudor since he's come into the club? Is he the guy to keep us up?
Man, like I think we need Jesus to keep us up, bro. Like we need to pray some higher power to keep us up. I'm not even like looking at him at this point. It's just like it's. I don't think anybody we can get in is gonna get a tune out of these players. This guy is like literally yelling, at the pitch, and sure, like his formations and everything. And I agree with Stelios. It's absolute crap, and it doesn't do us any favors. But it gets to a point where like, you got to show a little bit of quality. You got to show a little bit of fight. Come on, like. I'm saying it's, we get one goal and we kind of sit back. It's like it's 2-1 down, bro. We need to get another one. We need to get a point here, at least. It's ridiculous. There's no urgency in these players. It's like they don't get it. And then they'll go in and they'll say, oh, the fans boo us. It's like, bro, like, we're not robots. Like I'm used to watching Harold Kane, bro, Ronaldo, these guys. You know me. We can be 8th, and I'll still be cheering them on, saying we can get top 4, we can get this, we can do that. But you got to give me a little bit of hope. Like you got to give me something, like a little bit of passage of play, a good game for crying out loud. A good 90 minutes. We have not seen a good 90 minutes from these guys.
Do you think we will stay out Marcelo? What's your gut telling you?
Fuck no, bro. I think we're gonna go down, man. I'm scared, bro. Like I've been scared. I've been telling my friends, I've been telling people, and people have been saying I'm negative, bro. And it's what Brian and I have been saying, since the beginning. You get inept owners who don't have passion. You get owners who don't care about the football clubs. And it trickles down, and then now we have players that don't care about the football club, and we're in a relegation battle, and everybody just seems like everything is fine. You got Vinay, that prick, going out, doing interviews. You got Thomas Frank going to a press conference, saying we tried to size the menu. What a joke! Like seriously, like what a bunch of clowns those guys are. They should go down and stay in the championship if we do. Keep them right there, man. Those guys are absolute clowns, absolute jokesters. We're you know what? It's a circus. You know what they need to do with that stadium? Just put a nice big circus tent and call the V9 and Land Show, bro, because that's what it is, bro. These guys are absolute idiots, bro. They're clowns. That Danish prick can't sign one good player, bro. He couldn't smell a good player. He doesn't know. Like, oh my God, the recruitment over the years have been terrible. And I wish I've gone in calls, lads, and have come in, but I've been so busy, and it's gotten to a point where it's like, I used to think, why even care? These clowns don't care. These owners don't care. It makes you wonder why do I even show up? But I still do. I still watch it. Despite working, despite going to school, doing all this crap in my life, I still watch these useless players and not show up week in and week out, bro. It's ridiculous, man.
Oh, man. It's good to see you, though, Marcelo. Yeah, and unfortunately, I wish you were calling in better circumstances, but it's been a while. I feel like it's been too long since you last called in, and I always remember and appreciate your passion and, your love for the club, but it's tough times at the moment. It's tough times at the moment.
It's tough, bro, but, this is when we got to unite. Listen, Stella and I have not agreed in the past.
You're not there with Stell. You want Tottenham to go down. You're not quite there yet to get Enoch out.
No. I never want us to go down. Listen, bro. I'm not crazy like him, but he does have a point. He's nothing will change unless these owners go. I don't agree with him, but I see his point. These owners are absolute. It's criminal what they did to our football clubs. And bro, if you look at how much money this club makes. If you look at that Europa League final, how many fans turned up, Sim, for that Europa League win, bro? Imagine if it was a Premier League. Imagine if it was, a Champions League. Imagine, if it was one of those trophies, bro. This is a big football club. And the only thing that's keeping it back are the clowns that are up there. I don't even want to, this Lewis, I used to hate on Levy, but my goodness, he seemed like he was the only one that was competent around them. I don't know, maybe, but then again, he also hired Vinay. He also, it's just a whole mess, man. Levy, all these guys, they've all had to go for a long time, if we're being honest. I'm going crazy, man. This football club, it makes you. It literally questions your mental fortitude, and it feels like a social experiment, half of the time. It literally does. It feels like I'm a lab rat.
How much pain can they put a fan base through? Yeah.
with pain, bro. It's nothing but pain, oh my goodness. I remember the good times, bro. It's crazy. I got friends that, I convinced to be Spurs fans, and I'm telling them, I'm sorry, bro. I'm literally sorry, man. I didn't think it was going to be that bad.
I didn't know.
We used to have Son. We used to have all these guys. I didn't think it was going to be this bad. It's wild, man. Wild.
Anyway, good to see you, Marcelo. Please don't leave it too long before you call in.
Bro. I hope everything is well with you.
I hope well. Apart from Spurs, everything's going okay, mate. It's nice to see you.
Here, you can't let this club eat you alive. There's bigger things in life. Go enjoy a beer party. I don't know, socialize.
Take your mind off it, 100%.
Yeah, take your mind off it. Play FIFA. Create your own imagination. That's what I do most of the time. We're currently on our third Premier League.
Don't leave it too long till next time you call in, mate. Don't leave it too long.
No, bro. I plan on calling in. Especially now. I feel like. With how things are going, the fan base has got to unite. We gotta do something. We gotta make our voices clear because it's ridiculous. Enough is enough. Something's got to change. We're way too big of a club. I'm not gonna tolerate people saying we're a small club. Nope. I've done the history Q&As with you boys. I know the history of this club. This club is a big club. It's got a big fan base, and this can't be tolerated. Absolutely not. And we got to spread that voice. It's dire moments, but we got to stick together in these moments.
All right, Marcelo, cheers for calling, mate. Good to see you, and we'll speak
as
to you
always, brother. Have a good one.
Nice to see you, Marcelo. If you saw me grimacing a couple of times while Marcelo was on, it's because Arsenal have taken the lead, and now Chelsea are down to 10 men as well. So that game has gone to pot. Let's get Ricky on. Hey, mate. Thanks for calling in. How you doing?
I'm good. Physically good, not mentally.
Yeah. Join the club, man. Join the club.
If you remember after our FA Cup game against Aston Villa, I told you that I'm worried about keeping Thomas Frank too long because this is what I feared. Because we would leave it too late for someone like a new manager to come in and try to change things. Because now, see, whether we want to admit it or not, Stel, Nate, Josh, they're all talking about the players and this and that. It's not the players, it's the coaching and the board because we've made systematic losing. We've allowed we've allowed the club to say, you know what, it's okay to lose as long as we're doing good here, as long as we're doing okay here. And now the players, they don't think they're in a relegation fight. They're thinking, oh, if we play well today, we can win this game and we get points on the board. That's what they're thinking. While West Ham and Nottingham Forest, they're fighting for their lives. They want to stay in the Premier League. We don't want to stay in the Premier League. We just want to play nice, pretty football, get the points. That's what we're thinking, but that's not going to happen. This is relegation fight. And I don't know what Stella is on about that we need to get relegated. No way, bro. I I don't care. Whatever happens, I want to stay in the Premier League. I don't care about Enik. Even I want Enik out. But we have to be in the Premier League. We have to be in the Premier League.
But his argument would be, you know, if we go down, then it would force ENIC into action. It would force them to take the footballing matters more seriously than they are.
See, if we go down, players are going to want to leave. And we're not going to be able to recruit the players, Premier League level players. So we're going to have to recruit players who are good in the championship. And then when we get promoted, what are we going to do? We have to sell them off and again get more players. It's just issue after issue. It's no point getting relegated. It's not going to help us. But anyway, I don't want to talk about ifs and buts because that'll come later. What I want to talk about today was the game. I've seen Tudor's tactics, Arsenal game, and today. I think the reason we are struggling so much is because he doesn't understand midfield battle. I think he has over-assessed the midfield and he's trying to make a tactic where the midfielders progressively pass the ball. But the issue is we don't have midfielders who can progressively pass the ball. So then you have to get midfielders who can progressively carry the ball. But he's not playing Sar. He's playing Bissouma, yes, but it's just Bissouma. Palina and Gray and Javi Simon, they can't carry the ball forward. And so we're tactically inefficient in the midfield. And the defense, please, let's just play defenders in their natural position. Like, let's not have Spence at left back and things like that. Like, it's overcomplicating the game, I would say. And our attack, we don't have a guy who can do all three. Whatever Solanke can do, Richarlison cannot do. Whatever Richarlison can do, Kolomwani cannot do. It's like, it's technically very difficult to get things right. But yeah.
So do you think we've made the right decision bringing Tudor in?
It's hard to say because if we win the next game, I would say it's still the right decision because for me, Arsenal game did not matter because that was almost impossible situation to win. But I want to win Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest, and then show me something on Liverpool game. The next three games are very important because if we don't get at least 4 points from that, we are getting relegated. Because if we are going to leave it to the last 4 games, listen, Chelsea is going to relegate us. They're going to make it their life's goal to relegate us. So I don't want to get into that situation. We have to win at least 2 out of the next 3 games. We have to get at least 4 points, minimum 4 points.
Yeah. Did you think we'll get them?
That's the thing. I don't think we'll get them. Because when I look at our players, they're not playing to survive relegation. They're still trying to play that, let's play our game. And if it goes well, then we can get points on the board. That's not how you win relegation battles. So.
Yeah. How do we get out of the situation with the current hand we have, with the manager at the helm, with the players available? What do we need to do to get out of this situation? Because clearly, it's fighting and passion. Is that all enough, or do you need more than that?
we need to win our midfield battles, and I think the most important is we need to get the structure right, because we cannot be playing a midfielder who cannot progressively pass the ball while also playing a midfielder who basically cannot even side pass in Palinha. Like if you're gonna play Palinha, you need to play Sar or someone like that who can carry the ball forward. Because see, with Javi Simmons, he's the kind of midfielder who he's not a Madison. He cannot create chances like Madison or even someone like Kevin De Bruyne. But Javi Simmons can push the ball forward and he can create chances for the runners. And to do that, you need someone to carry the ball forward, because if Javi Simmons comes down and has to pick the ball up, he cannot do that job. He's not Madison. He cannot, play long balls and play those kind of magic passes that we want. So we have to find that balance. And I think Sar is very important now, because I know he's not the best midfielder we have, but he's the best progressive carry midfielder we have. So I think he has to play now, because we saw when Sar came and Richie came, the dynamic of our tactics changed today. So that's very important.
Igor Tudor in his press conference said it was a ridiculous decision not to give the first goal as a foul. He said the decision lacked any logic. And he was furious with that decision. He was too scared to talk to ref because he thought he might say something he regretted. What did you make of the first goal?
See, I've been supporting Spurs for more than a decade. I know we'll never get decisions in our favor. So, I mean, it's obvious that if it's a foul against Colomboani, that should be a foul against us also. But that's not how PL works. I mean, referees are so inconsistent. We can't help with that. But yeah, I mean, it's not like, see, I can say it's unfair, but at the same time, we didn't do anything to try to win the game after that. Like we got one goal, okay, fine. But apart from that, like even the second half, we attacked, but we didn't attack with any kind of intensity. We attacked for the sake of attacking. And like, you're not gonna win games like that. You're not even gonna draw games like that. Like, it was very difficult to watch.
Ricky, appreciate you calling, mate. Appreciate your time. But look, it's a tough situation at the moment. Everyone's trying to figure out how we get out of this, but it's difficult, isn't it? But I'll appreciate your time, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
No worries. Thanks for calling in. All right, was he the last one? Yeah. All right. That is it for today. Oh, another day, another loss. And Tottenham creeping ever closer to that relegation zone. Horrible, horrible time at the moment. But look, let's hope better days to come. Let's hope Thursday, an opportunity to turn things around again. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So appreciate everyone who watched the show. Appreciate everyone who called in. All the people send super chats. Actually, I didn't get to the super chats. Let me read the ones that people have just sent in through. Quite a few, actually. 1 minute. So, Scorpion Fans for Life says, Xavi is a ghost. Richie has fight graded his best. F3T says, blimey, had a bad dream. Let's smash Fulham. Come on, you Spurs. Wolfie says, any EFL side would beat this current Tottenham side right now because of how bad we are. We are Spurs TV. Still, I thought a good coach was going to get more. Stel can answer that one. Ricky with the members chat says, bring me on next. Mr. Stelios is crazy. Oh, he just came on and spoke. He says, I don't care about Enoch. I care about Tottenham. Loves Music says, Villa did okay when they were relegated, Stel. Shaz says, when a club keeps pretending instead of doing, let alone daring, by firing the people you should be supporting because they cared, Kane, Poch, and you end up with this. Players that can't believe and only pretend to fight. Fans have PTSD from years of broken delusions. They have been fed and now blame everything because of the hurt, including each other. Well, difficult times. So big up to everyone. Appreciate everyone who watched the show. We'll see you all very, very soon. Tomorrow, Ben's going to be back in the studio and we'll go through this game in even more detail, see how it was for him at Craven Cottage. And we'll look forward to the game on Thursday as well. So we'll see you soon. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.